G'day, I'm Barry Johnson. Today I'm currently at the Auckland Art Gallery in New Zealand with Carl Malone and William Smith Hauser. And we are currently looking at Tamati, Waka, Nene.
Thank you, Barry. And it's actually pronounced Tamati, Waka, Nene. And what we have here is a painting made in 1890 by this sexy beast right here, Gottfried Lindauer. It's oil on canvas and its title is Tamati, Waka, Nene, currently located in Auckland National Art Gallery. It was painted 20 years after Nene died. Nene was a part of the indigenous people of New Zealand, which were the Maori. This painting is a portrait of Tamati Waka Nene. He was born around the 1780s and died in 1871. He was a rangatira, or a chief, of the Ngati Hau people in Hoki Anga, of the Ngāpuhi Iwi, or tribe. Basically, he was an important war leader of the Maori people, living in Northland region of New Zealand. During this time period, rapid change was occurring in New Zealand. British missionaries and settlers were arriving and changing the Maori world forever. And due to these types of changes, Nene converts to the Wesleyan faith and was baptized in 1839, choosing to be named Tamati Waka, or Thomas Walker, who was an English merchant, patron of the Church Missionary Society.
In this painting, Nene is wearing a kahu kiwi, which was a fine cloak covered in kiwi feathers. He also wears oversized earrings of greenstone or panau, which is a durable / highly valued nephrite jade, which reveal Nene's status. They were believed to contain his power of mana. Nene holds a handheld weapon known as a tuhate tuha, which has feathers adorning its blade, and a finely carved hand gripped with an abloon or pau eye. And of course, the most obvious feature, his facial tattoos, called moko. This portrait is based off a photograph. What's up, baby girl? Sorry about that, folks. Back to the video. Lindauer based his portrait on a photograph taken by John Crumby. These portraits were becoming more ubiquitous by 1870 due to the development in photographic methods that made the whole process easier and cheaper. Lindauer is thought to have used a device called an epidiascope to enlarge and project small photographs such as these so he could paint them.
Lindauer was a Czech artist who arrived in New Zealand in 1873 after a decade of painting professionally in Europe. Prior to this, he studied at the Academy of Fine Art in Vienna from 1855 to 1861 and learned painting techniques in Renaissance naturalism. After this, he began to pursue the career of a portrait painter and established his own portrait studio in 1864. 10 years later, he arrived in New Zealand and was familiar with a man called Henry Patridge, who became his patron. Patridge commissioned Lindauer to paint portraits of well-known Maori, and in 1877, Lindauer held an exhibition in Wellington, which was significant as it progressed his career and displayed Lindauer's ability to paint. Following this, Lindauer was commissioned by Maori chiefs to paint their portraits. In 1915, Patridge gave Lindauer's collection of 62 portraits to Auckland Art Gallery.
Lindauer took different approaches to his commissions. Lindauer painted well-known Maori and Maori clothing for European purchases, and painted unknown Maori and everyday European clothing. His paintings are realistic, use contrast in light and shadow, which results in subjects to glow against dark backgrounds. Lindauer didn't make any sketches, instead worked straight onto stretched canvases. He outlined his subjects in pencil over a white background before applying paint and glazes. This all occurred in the 1870s, so color photography had yet to be invented, and he was basically copying black and white images and added color by imagination on what he thought was adequate.
So, Mr. Carl Malone, what's the overall function or purpose of this work?
I'm glad you asked, William Smith Hauser. The overall function was to commemorate traditional and cultural Maori ways of life that were thought to be disappearing. It also brings ancestral presence into the world of living. This artwork is not just a representation of Tamati Waka Nene, but an embodiment of him.
The painting can be compared to the sculpture George Washington, sculpted by John Antoine Houdon, as they both represent their cultural values and have similar themes such as history, memory, identity, and authority. Both are seen as war heroes, and both are shown as in straight posture to show dominance, and both are holding important things that are significant to each of their cultures. Washington is next to the Roman fasces, which were a group of rods bound together symbolizing the 13 colonies, and Nene is holding a tewa, which is a hand weapon. Thanks for watching.
Bye.